So, I want to weigh in on the EFF and Brackenfell High in the Western Cape. So, earlier, the EFF went to protest at Brackenfell High. Why were they protesting? I actually went to and looked this up. They were protesting because they feel the school is very racist. And more especially, there was a private, I have to emphasize, private function held by matric pupils that only had white students and white parents. And they happened to invite two teachers to this event. Department of Education says they can't really get involved because, number one, it was a private event, and the fact that two teachers were invited does not necessarily mean it's an institutional issue. It's not that the school was the one hosting the event. It's not that the teachers, the staff decided to host an event and only invite white students and their parents. EFF is angry, country's angry. There's talks about how this is a reminder of how racist South Africa is. The Rainbow Nation is a myth. And everything else that triggers people racially, because we live obviously in a country where racism is such a sensitive trigger. I'm making this video because I'm in a WhatsApp group where some of the country's politicians weigh in on certain issues. And I was just upset by some of the things that they said. It reminded me of every single time there's a little story of racism, black people just jump on it like flies on shit. You know, we're so easily distracted by things that are probably not that important. And we're so easily distracted by things that are probably really a waste of our time and a waste of our energy and our resources. I went to rewatch a clip, Jamie Foxx on the Joe Rogan show. There's a 30-second bit that I was looking for in that part. And Jamie Foxx talks about how people on social media always go for extremes. They go for the extreme opinion, the extreme viewpoint. Something in the clip, he says his friends were like, "Oh my gosh, did you hear that thing?" And what was said? And Jamie was like, "Yeah, but how many views did it get?" And the person was like, "It had 80,000 views." And he's like, "Yeah, but there's like 8 million people in Philly alone. So what's 80,000 views? And you're giving all your attention and all your effort to 80,000 views." We live in a time where we think because a certain post has got 3,000 retweets, it means it's the popular opinion. We live in a place where even today, like if South Africa was Twitter, the EFF would run South Africa and Julius Malema would be the president. But South Africa is not Twitter. Most South Africans are not on Twitter. Most South Africans who actually are affected by the realities of poverty in this country, the people that collect the social grants, the people that rely on free schooling and free healthcare, they're not on Twitter. Twitter's got a whole combination of like privileged upper class black kids that don't have much to do with their time, and they ride a lot of the shit on there. And mind you, I'm saying it's got a lot. I'm not saying even most. That's why I think the stats was something like 14 million South African users on Twitter, 14 out of 57 million. And from the 14 million Twitter users, not even the 57 million South Africans, if you've got something that's retweeted 10,000 times, maybe even 100,000 times, that's nowhere close to 14 million people. So someone could say Cyril is an asshole. Someone could say Mandela's the greatest president of all time. Someone could say bring back Jacob Zuma. Someone could say Oscar Pistorius doesn't deserve to be in jail. And it could get 5,000, 10,000 likes and retweets. That's such a fractional minority of people in the whole country sharing that opinion. Joe Rogan in that same clip goes on to say the chances, if you walk into a room of 100 people, the chances of one of those people being an idiot, a proper idiot that can never be changed, no matter how much you educate them, show them the world, travel, etc. Out of a room of 100 people, there's at least one idiot. And that's being generous. 1 out of 100. Which means is in a country of 50 million people, or let's say 60 million South Africans, 1 out of every 100 is 1%. 1% of 60 million is, I think it's 600,000. 10% is 6 million. 1% is 600,000. So there's at least 600,000 complete idiots in this country. If we bump it up just to 3%, we're already sitting on 1.8 million idiots. And if some of these idiots happen to be on Twitter, on social media, and they're constantly out there trolling and liking the most racist, most stupid, most divisive, most oppressive shit, and there you see 1 million retweets and likes, and you're like, oh my gosh, the country's burning. It's not. It's a very, very small percentage of human beings in this country and in the world. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because your politicians are now going to speak about how the Western Cape is racist, how white people are racist, the Rainbow Nation is false, etc., etc. And they're going to use the race agenda again to drive you to vote for them and support them in bullshit. Why am I making this video? I'm making this video because out of 57 million people, we are so different. We are so different. And we are broken up into so many different segments. If I were to, like, just a rough thumbsuck, there's probably like 10,000 different groups in South Africa of people that are either pure racist or purely don't see color. And then the other 9,990 whatever groups are all different shades of the extremes. Pure racist and someone who doesn't see color at all. We are so different. There are spaces where I don't see color. There are spaces where all I see is color. There are times when I can feel a white person being racist. There are times when I can see a white person really trying their best to try and meet me halfway, or even going over and above, empowering me, giving me skills and tools and educating me. Penal, why don't you try this? Penal, look, let me give you some capital. Penal, let me support your business. That's a person that's trying. And now that white person, those white people, those, in my own little life, I've probably met thousands of really good white people who are trying, who might be racist in certain other spaces. They have white privilege, obviously. They are beneficiaries of apartheid and racism and colonization, obviously. And they might be racist in certain interactions somewhere. But in terms of some of the interactions I've had with them, they've tried their best, not just with me, but with all the other black people I've seen around me. So now, if you're going to take 20 EFF members in the Western Cape at some school and 30 potentially racist white parents, 50 human beings, and then let them represent 57 million South Africans, it's the most dangerous and the most stupid thing you could ever do because we're so different. There's probably a lot of white parents from Brackenfell High that didn't go to that event. Or even if they did, they asked, but where are the other parents? Why were they not invited? Of the two teachers that showed up, maybe those two teachers are racist. Maybe they're not. Maybe there were other teachers that were invited and they were like, look, if it's only white people that are going to be there, we feel a bit uncomfortable, we're not going to be there. But now the whole school, you're going to meet like a white teacher today that says, oh, I teach at Brackenfell High. You'll be like, oh, racist. You must be. Because you're an idiot. And I'm just saddened at how many supposedly intelligent people, I'm saddened at how many politicians and other leaders are weighing in to this matter with such bullshit analysis. Such bullshit analysis. You know, Donald Trump just lost the elections. Obviously, he's fighting it, right? And I'm sad because I support Trump. I've given my reasons for it. Donald Trump got more elections this time around than he did when he ran with Hillary. He got more votes, which means if, for example, there were 50 million people that voted for Trump last time, there's like 60 million now, which means 10 million more people were like, I like this guy. I'm going to vote for this guy. The difference, obviously, and the reason he lost is because any maybe Hillary or Democrat type supporters were like, look, let's get more of us to vote for the alternative candidate. But Donald Trump got more votes, which means he's got more people that support him than last time. And America now as a country is going to be led by Joe Biden, where about half of the country didn't want him to lead them. Imagine in South Africa, if we've got 9 provinces. So imagine if 5 of those provinces were won by Jacob Zuma and 4 of them were won by someone like Eugene Terblanche of the AWB, of your beer. 5 Zuma, 4 Terblanche, and now Zuma has to rule over all 9 provinces plus the 4 that supported Eugene Terblanche and didn't want Jacob Zuma to be the leader. How is that democratic? How does that make sense? How do you function properly and efficiently in a space like that? How is Joe Biden supposed to run those states where they didn't want him? And the almost half of the voters that didn't want him to lead. But it's because we're not smart and we don't analyze these things. And I'm not even asking you to be a genius. I'm just asking you to look at a tweet. 20,000 likes, 5,000 retweets. We've got 57 million human beings and maybe 40 million Twitter users. And you're going to base your opinion on 5,000 retweets. Oh, South Africans are angry. Says who? South Africans don't want the ANC. Says they voted for the ANC. 57%, I think. Which are the people that are receiving the grants and the freebies and the whatever. They may not like Cyril. That's another misconception. A person that votes ANC doesn't necessarily like Cyril Ramaphosa. He likes what the ANC has done, what it does, and what it stands for. You could have put any clown on top of the ANC. If they maintain things the way they do them, then obviously people will vote ANC. Meanwhile, on the other hand, you might find that people voted for Julius because it's Julius, or voted for the EFF because it's Julius, or they like what the EFF stands for, whether it's Julius or Ndlozi or Floyd Shibambu or whoever is at the helm. But we don't understand logic and rational thinking in some of these things. I'm very, very saddened by people that are going to take this EFF Brackenfell High story and then copy and paste it across the whole country when we're so different. We need to segment human beings. All South Africans fall into different groups. All black people fall into different groups. Not all black people hate whites. Not all black people love being black. Not all black people are poor. Not all black people are struggling. Not all black people are previously disadvantaged. Not all black people care about this country, want black people to be uplifted, etc., etc. We're so different. If there's one thing I'll leave you with, we're so, so different. And the second thing I want to leave you with is, guys, don't base popular opinion on a few shares and likes and retweets on social media. That's extremely dangerous and narrow and misleading. Hope you guys will have a great day and apply your minds a bit better. Penuel the Black Pen. Cheers.